We have never seen a player like Victor Wembanyama, or have we?
We're labeling like this unicorn thing. Everybody's been a unicorn over the last few years, but he's more like an alien.
Because before there were aliens, there was one unicorn. And don't forget about him.
Anthony trying to set the screen. Anthony wide open, can't hit. Porzingis on the follow over Aldridge.
If you weren't following hoops back in 2016, you might forget how special Kristaps Porzingis really was. Keep watching to see what happened, because now someone might be trying to take his place. It's not just that they're both long, tall, and skilled. It's that we have never seen that type of player before. You might be thinking one German a few years back might be similar, but we'll break down why he's different in a minute. Because what Porzingis can do makes him borderline elite when he is right. He's 7'2", but might have the slickest jumper in the game. Over his career, he's a 36% three-point shooter, and no one can hope to block a shot that starts that high off the ground. But the reason he was iconic in the mid-2010s was that he changed what we thought of the power forward position. Traditionally, power forward was like a secondary center, a big post player who could defend the paint. After the Curry years, some teams started only playing one big man, sticking another shooter at the 4. But what if you could have both? You won't believe some of Porzingis' highlights.
With the 4th pick in the 2015 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Kristaps Porzingis from Liepaja, Latvia. He last played for Sevilla in Spain.
Man, New Yorkers were not thrilled with that one. This was a couple years after Melo looked like he might bring the Knicks back to relevancy. But then, he didn't. In 2015, the Knicks were desperate. Looking back, it's actually embarrassing that New Yorkers would have wanted anyone else. Check out the 2015 draft. Behind Porzingis was Mario Hezonja, Willie Cauley-Stein, Emmanuel Mudiay, Stanley Johnson, Frank the Tank. Not a lot of great picks there. The next best option was Booker at 13, but really, Porzingis looked like the pick right out of the gates.
Good swing of the ball. Galloway short. Porzingis again! Lopez facing up. Porzingis throws it down on Love.
Yeah, a few nights ago, he was spinning and winning with this dunk. This time coming in.
The NBA put out a highlight reel of Porzingis' putbacks in November of 2015. Only a few weeks into the season, and he already had a 2-minute compilation. And it wasn't just the putbacks. He was swatting 1.9 shots per game, a legit defensive menace, finishing second in Rookie of the Year voting behind Karl Anthony Towns. He was a steady 3-point threat, though his percentages were pretty low as a rookie, as you'd expect. But even by his sophomore year, he became deadly from deep. By 2017, we officially had controversy. Would the Knicks keep Melo, who barely took them into relevancy, or would they go on with a new unicorn? They chose Porzingis, of course, and the rest is history. At least, it was supposed to be. After Melo went to the Thunder, Porzingis had a career year. 23 points per game, 40% from deep, career-high 2.4 blocks, and an All-Star selection. Until it all came crashing down.
Much better than last year. Nice feed inside, and Porzingis throws it down, and he's hurt. Porzingis grabbing his left knee.
After another powerful slam, he came down with a torn ACL. And that was the last play of Porzingis' Knicks career. He didn't play again until the 2019-20 season, almost 2 years after the injury. And when he did, it was with the Mavs, after the Knicks didn't want to put all their eggs into one injury-prone basket. It's tough when you're that tall. Knees can only take so much. But the thing is, when you look at his Mavericks career, you'll wonder if the Knicks were right to move on from him. All of Porzingis' flaws came into the light with the Mavericks. When you're young and new, everyone loves you. When you don't progress, they instantly turn on you. His low rebounding numbers and bad rim percentages might have been something worth living with when you see his three-point ability and his defensive prowess, but it wasn't helping the Mavs much. He was playing alongside Luka Doncic on a franchise that had historically been really friendly to foreign-born unicorns. KP's numbers were solid, 20 points, 9 boards, a couple blocks, and a lot of threes for his 2 years in Dallas. But it was clear that he was not the perfect fit with Luka. Porzingis was just not fitting to his role as a second banana. Maybe it's a mentality thing. When you look at his playoff performance, that seems obvious. Pandemic P, they called him. In the 2021 playoffs, a rematch against the Clippers, he scored 13 points per game and shot below 30% from deep. He couldn't grab a rebound, and his defensive numbers were bad. Mostly, he just wasn't aggressive. He took 10 shots per game, 6 less than the regular season. JJ Redick had asked Porzingis about his role, how he was told to just stand in the corner. At least Porzingis can laugh about it now.
At that point, still, I was a little bit young, and I was like doing it, how you say, like out of spite, like, oh, on purpose, I will not move from this corner, like that little bit of mindset, you know, and it was not correct. But of course, I played hard and I gave everything on defense. And
he was also still struggling with staying healthy at this time. And eventually, the Mavericks had enough. Midway through the 2021-22 season, they shipped him off to Washington. And then the Mavs got better. They had a top 5 defense in the second half of the year, making it all the way to the conference finals for Luka's first real playoff success. It's a bad thing when teams get better just because you leave, right? When he put up big numbers in Washington, it was clear. Porzingis may be a unicorn, he may be special, but if he is one of the 2 best players on your team won't be good. So where do you think he ranks among other unicorns?
That's what I'm saying. Bol was the first. Yeah, wait, you think Bol good as Wembanyama? Yep, I do.
Shaq thinks Bol belongs on this list, the son of the original unicorn, Manute Bol.
Sixers had come back to within 10. Now it's He's got 6 threes this half.
Yeah, sure. Bol is big, tall, long, freaky long actually, and has a couple skills, but he does not count. You actually have to be good enough to play consistently to be a true unicorn. Otherwise, you're just a fun highlight guy. Chet Holmgren might be the best comp for Kristaps Porzingis. As a rookie, he finished 37% from deep with 2.3 blocks per game. He's over 7 foot, he's long, lanky, and has those Gumby arms that sort of look Porzingis-y. But the reason Porzingis is still the ultimate unicorn, he can play big. Sure, Chet can protect the rim, but he barely weighs more than 200 pounds. Porzingis weighs 240, meaning he can play center if his team needs him to. In fact, that's where he thrived last year with Boston. Chet, not so much. The Thunder got demolished by the Mavericks frontcourt in the playoffs. Chet was better than Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, but because of the severe strength difference, he couldn't hang. That'll be much different with Hartenstein on the team this year though, and Chet can play at a more natural 4 spot. Of course, both Porzingis and Chet have one thing in common. They thrive when they are the third option. Not that they both aren't great, but neither can create their own shot, and they're better suited playing off ball as a deep threat, which is why the actual OG unicorn is Dirk Nowitzki. He wasn't as long as the modern day unicorns and aliens, but Dirk was the prototype for what they became. He was one of the first guys who showed the world that a big man doesn't have to fit into their box, and he could lead a team playing his style of ball. And that is why Wemby will always be better than Porzingis. When Victor Wembanyama put back his own three-pointer, we all knew he was more than a unicorn. LeBron said it best, he's an alien. But frankly, we've seen a lot of body types like Wendy's, and only one has been as great as him. Because there's something far more important than being 7'3" with range and defensive instincts. You gotta have that special makeup to be a star, to be unafraid in big moments and step up when it counts. To be the #1 guy as a 20-year-old and face it head on. This isn't a criticism of Porzingis. Most guys aren't like that. There are only a few players every generation who are true winners. Porzingis knows that Wemby is something totally different than he is. KP said of Wemby, "I think this guy's different. He's like a superhuman almost. The way he can move, his handles and everything. I saw something, that he's like a mixture of a lot of great players. He has handles like KD, and for his height, he's even taller than me, 7'4". And I don't know if you saw the highlight where he shot the 3, step back 3, then went to get his own rebound. That's insane. I haven't seen that, I don't know, ever. So I'm very excited to see him in the NBA. So yeah, Wemby is special. He is a future MVP, already a leader of a franchise, and probably will end up one of the greatest players of all time. But Porzingis is no slouch, and his story didn't end with Washington. There's a tough line to balance, knowing that someone isn't quite good enough to be the leading guy, but knowing he's a little too good to be the third banana. And when that guy is injury prone, it's an even bigger risk. But the Boston Celtics needed a title. They had 5 conference finals appearances and a finals loss in the last decade. They needed someone to get them over the hump, so they took a risk. They traded the heart and soul of their team, Marcus Smart, for Kristaps Porzingis, and he unlocked something special in them. KP only played 57 games, but managed 20 points per game on a team with Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They were by far the best team in the league, partly because no one had an answer for the giant three-point threat sitting in the corner. And the thing is, because the Celtics didn't need him to be great every day like the Mavericks did, he was allowed to be who he was. He was allowed to be a spot-up guy and a defensive anchor, not having to worry about carrying the load of a franchise. And it paid off. They smashed their way through the regular season, dominated the playoffs, and Porzingis became a champion. It's hard to see him ever leaving Boston. He fits so perfectly into their style of play and their culture. And fans couldn't be happier for the guy. He had gone through so much, and to win a title in a season where an upgraded version of him makes his debut, it means that the world will never forget who the first unicorn really was. Do you think the Celtics would have won without KP this year? Is there another unicorn who is better than Porzingis? Let us know in the comments, then watch one of these videos next. Listen to the Wrong Opinion, Useless NBA Trivia and Garbage Rankings for more NBA content.